I'm here with Evan, and this is the official How You Say Danelectro. Number 1. You may not know this face, but this is Nathan Daniels, the original owner of Danelectro Instruments. Nathan started Danelectro in 1947 as an experienced amp designer and builder who had worked for a short time for Epiphone. Nathan built amplifiers for music stores under the name Danelectro, but also for Sears under the name Silvertone and for Montgomery Ward under the name Airline. Number 2. Danelectro started constructing hollow body guitars out of Masonite and Plywood. Masonite is a material constructed using the Mason method, which is wood chips, pressure, and steam to make it into a very inexpensive board that is extremely hard and flexible. This allowed Danelectro to make guitars extremely affordable. The lipstick tube pickup was first introduced by the Danelectro line of guitars. It was believed to be used of surplus lipstick tubes, but new accounts and more information has shown that that's not the case. It was really just an innovative design over traditional guitar pickups that use plastic or fiber bobbins as a form of winding of the coil. The lipstick tube pickup uses a coil wrapped around an Alnico 6-bar magnet and then wrapped in tape. Encasing in the tube reduces the noise, and it gives that pickup a unique and great sound. The only issue with the Danelectro lipstick tube pickups is they're quite wide, 8.18 centimeters overall in length, so they cannot be retrofitted into a Stratocaster or similar guitar without removing some plastic from the pickguard or wood from the body. Number 3. In 1956, Danelectro introduced the Baritone Guitar. Now, this guitar didn't take over and it wasn't extremely popular. It was used in country music and creating a tic-tac bass sound, and Dwayne Eddy used it in Rabble Rouser, but even with that, it just didn't take over in popularity. It's actually more used today probably than ever before. And that brings us to number 4. In 1966, Danelectro was sold to MCA, who tried to broaden the instrument line and take it to more music stores. Unfortunately, based on that decision and a few others, they lost contracts with Sears. And in 1969, the company officially closed. Number 5. In 1994, the current owner, Steve, was living in Los Angeles, California, when he decided he wanted to create his own line of pedals. Thinking about it hard and deciding maybe he should use an existing brand. Looking in the pages of musical instruments for sale, he found Magnetone and Danelectro. He made a phone call to Danelectro's ownership, and that afternoon they sealed the deal for him to own the brand. And in 1997, he brought his line of pedals to the NAMM show to a huge success. But the dealers were clamoring, what about those guitars? So after putting a lot of hard work in, that following year NAMM show, they released an entire line of Danelectro guitars, selling 10,000 the first day and over 100,000 before the show was over. And that brings us to today. Danelectro now makes a variety of instruments that are representative of the old and the new. They make a line of pedals and even our favorite tuner. But with a company's history so diverse and so interesting, there just can't be enough information in a short video. So if you know interesting things about Danelectro, put them in the comments down below. Maybe we need to do a part 2 of this series because it is such an interesting company with such a rich history. As always, I want to thank every single one of you who subscribe and come back every week. And until next time, know your gear. I want to take a second to thank everyone who subscribes to this channel, especially the ones who support me on Patreon and buying merchandise. What you do makes this channel happen, and I want to thank you for that.